Hey guys, it's Jake from Wani, and I'm here with Devin Townsend. Devin, how are you going, man?
I'm good, thank you.
We'll just dive straight into it, but I guess the first one, the really important one is, it seems like Devin Townsend Project was only just here in Australia not that long ago in support of Z2. Why is there such a really quick turnaround between tours for you when most bands are lucky to make it here every 3 to 4 years?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, so to speak, and it's something that is presented to me rather than me presenting it to other people. So if a tour comes up and we're able to do it, it just, why in the world would I not want to come to Australia? It's awesome.
Yeah, cool, man. Especially coming back down this time now in support of Transcendence, which you released last year. Got great reviews around it. They're going to be good shows. But was Transcendence, the project, a lot easier to finish than Z2 was, given that I know I've seen that you've mentioned that Z2 would have been the album that would have made you start drinking again?
Yeah, Transcendence it started easier. I mean, that's the thing, right? You always assume that it's going to be, easier or more efficient because you try and learn from your mistakes last time. So after Z2, I spent a bunch more time writing, and I spent a bunch of time to myself, getting myself prepared, and really worked with the band and worked with the art far in advance, all these things. And so it remained relatively effortless up till about the halfway point, at which point it turned into yet another record of just existential chaos. And, the type of music that I write and the type of music that I end up recording, it's very difficult to actualize. And best laid plans it always ends up in the same place. So it was easier in some sense than Z2, but at the end it was just another record, just another bunch of problems trying to make it all work. But I really enjoy it. So again, hooray.
Yeah, cool. And that's like when you mentioned there about the chaos and that of writing, that's actually sort of a good lead into my next question, because one thing that myself and a lot of other fans have always marvelled about your work is the wall of sound, like the multi-tracking and that sort of in-your-face hit that you get with each song, whether that be the cathartic sort of energy that you had with Strapping Young Lad or the ambient, more progressive stuff that you're doing with the Devin Townsend Project. So this is sort of a skill that a lot of musicians are sort of steering clear from, a lot of tending to use a lot of pauses and breaks in their songs. But are you ever afraid that sometimes you're adding too much to a mix?
Always, every time. And I mean, Transcendence, I pulled it back a lot, but even at that, man, it's way too much. I think, if there's anything that I can say for sure about my career arc and everything that I've tried to do is that I'm trying to learn each time. I'm trying to make it better. I'm trying to get closer to my goals. And the whole wall of sound thing has been an unfortunate byproduct of me trying to articulate these visions that I have in my head, and it's always been massive things. I remember during Infinity is when it really started, and I remember thinking, man, it's fractals of sound everywhere you look, everywhere you listen. There should just be massive amounts of things going on. But, the ultimate end result of that is it becomes fatiguing for the listener if I'm not careful, and it's a nightmare to mix every time. So we'll see what happens in the future. Perhaps this stage that I'm at right now is like a massive change, because I kind of feel that coming right now, to be fair.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, that's sort of the wall of sound. It's one of those things that's sort of been trademarked towards you, and you're sort of the best that's doing it at the moment. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I'll take it. But I think where it needs to go in the future is honestly unclear to me right now. I usually have a really clear idea of what the next step will be, but I think I've said so much with that style for so long that I think Transcendence almost marks the transition between that kind of style and something completely new. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yeah, cool. And I mean, just going back onto those points there, it's kind of interesting how you sort of, if you look at your musical journey and how it's been chronicled through the early days as part of that relentless and, as I said before, cathartic energy that was strapping young lad into the more, I guess, spiritual and relaxed ambient energy that you have with the Devin Townsend Project. And I know that your sobriety has had a large influence in many aspects on that creative side of your career, but it seems like the spiritual aspect of your music sort of goes a bit deeper than that. So is there a particular spiritual connection that you have, be it religion, country, because I know how fondly you speak of Canada, earth, or even family, that helps you create such good music?
Well, thanks, man. I mean, I have no idea, really. I think spiritually, I'm certainly not religious. But I think spirituality comes to me in terms of my environment, nature, for sure. And family and all these things, of course. But I think more than anything else, it's this sense that I truly believe that I know less and less every year, every day. And there's something really humbling about the profundity of it all in the face of that I find inspiring. And to be honest, it's the more together I find myself, I hesitate to use the word centered, but, the more together I find myself, it's sometimes a struggle as well, because the lows don't get as low and the highs don't get as high. So the more centered you become as a person, the more you have to really dig deep to try and find the music. But that offers some unique opportunities for growth, I think.
Leading on, man, I'm just going to quickly throw some of your own quotes back at you. So we've got, I was becoming a product of someone else's imagination and it was mixing with my own personality. The music business is done and essentially the industry is dead. So with these quotes in mind, and given the power of labels, the rise of streaming services, the increased accessibility to a wider array of bands, and the increase in alternative ways to consume music, what is it about the Devin Townsend Project that resonates so well with fans after all these years that keeps them consuming your music?
I really try every time I do something to go deep into the self-analysis of it all. As pretentious as that sounds, but that's kind of what my routine is. And the reason why I want to do that is because music acts as basically the byproduct of my life. And in trying to become more actualized as a person, if I'm doing it honestly, then I'm going to feel the music deeply. And so each record, it's a fight to, number one, identify where I'm at, and then number two, put it into a conglomeration of sound that makes sense not only to me, but also the listener. I keep trying. Every time we become a little more successful, anytime I do anything a little more successful, there's always the murmuring in my camp about, well, we should write something commercial. We should get in with a big producer and make a bunch of sort of tried and pop structured version of what we do, because now's the time to cash in on. But at the same time, it's like the thing that has allowed me to have a family stuck with me through all of this is the fact that it's not that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm really working to make something beautiful or brutal or whatever, but I'm working to make something that is honestly where I'm at as a human. And packaging that as a commodity, as much as I try, and as much as I've flirted with the idea, it's not what I do. I don't care enough about it to do that. So whatever you hear from me, it's something that really means a lot, and perhaps that's a little more rare as time goes on and the industry changes. I'm
going to just follow on from that one and mention a couple of the seminars about the music industry that you're holding in Australia. So you held one yesterday, which was a free webinar titled How to Develop Creativity and Excel as a Successful Independent Songwriter in a Changing Industry. And you've also got an upcoming in-person one during your tour here later this year. So Do you enjoy doing these, and is this your way of providing artists out there with some of your own experiences to ensure that up-and-coming artists don't fall into the same pitfalls that many artists have before them?
Totally. And that's one of the pitfalls, is like thinking that the thing that makes your music or art unique needs to change to be palatable to more people. You know? It's like, if anything, what I hope to achieve from those seminars and the book that I did and all this as well is almost rooted in, you know, when I listen to music all day, man, all day, every day, and I got Spotify as my listening device. I mean, I listen to Spotify all day, and I don't want to hear my music. My music is a necessary part of my growth, and it's something that is very close to me, but it's not what I want to hear. So when it comes to these sort of classes and lectures that I do, my hope is that I can maybe inspire people in a best case scenario, or at least provide them some information about pitfalls that I've experienced over these past 25 years that will maybe inspire them to do something that's really cool. You know, maybe you've got a bunch of people in your ear saying, write a pop song, make something super heavy, make something super complicated. Whatever the catchphrases that are selling at the moment are, you know, you're going to get that sort of thrown at you. But my point is more like, there's ways that you can make enough money to support yourself in a nice, modest way and not have to do any of that. You know, you can make puppet symphonies, and you can make crazy orchestral things, and you can make anything that I want to do, I can do, but it requires that self-analysis that I mentioned straight off the top. And I believe that over the years I've developed techniques in order to sort of manifest that you know, I really think it would be nice to share with people, if for no other reason than if it can inspire other people to make cool music. It gives me something to listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm actually going to be heading to the one in person in May, because I think they're great, just in terms of, as you said, just inspiring and I guess informing everyone about that you can do what you want to do. You don't have to be bound by labels or deals, right, and totally make the music that you want to do. So
totally. And I mean, I think it requires a type of, well, I hate to say it, but it's true. It requires a type of courage that I think is rooted in all the other aspects of your life. You know, the ability to do the things that you don't want to do in order to get something that you want.
Yeah.
Be that making your bed in the morning, or exercising, or taking care of your obligations, or being somebody that, you know, your bandmates or your family can depend on. All these things contribute to, you know, being resilient enough mentally to make the call to do what is important to you, as opposed to everybody else when the chips are down.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, Devin, I've got one more for you. I know that Transcendence has only just come out and you're touring in support of that, but I also know that you're a very busy and creative man, so what's next for you? What can fans expect next?
I'm trying to figure it out. I have so many directions that I could go, and I'm waiting. It's a treasure hunt for me, man. I just keep writing until something I write makes me think, yeah, that. And currently I've got a ton of different things that I've been doing, but none of them have ticked that box yet. It's kind of, I've got the idea of like a symphony. I've got the idea of this like really ethereal, heavy thing. I've got this idea of this totally stripped back acoustic thing, and this chaotic, progressive thing. There's all these directions that I'm experimenting with right now, but it hasn't coagulated into a definite direction yet. So I'm just playing it by ear. Probably will be for the next couple of months.
Yeah, fair enough. Devin, thanks so much for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you when you come down here and tour later this year.
I really appreciate the interview, and I appreciate your commitment to the scene as well, man. Take it easy, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Devin. See ya.
Bye-bye.